think about it. Liquid foundation is mostly made up of water. What happens when water evaporates? It dries up. So it's drying out your skin. Whereas a cream, whether it's the brand that I use or another cream that you want to try, is going to do a better job of moisturizing your skin and moving with your skin as opposed to.
Oh, that makes sense. For this midlife conversation, I'm going to go deep with Jenn Reed. I met Jenn on Instagram. She claims to be the midlife hype girl, and she truly is. I love watching her videos. She's funny. She's engaging. She's so relatable. She shares fashion, makeup, tips, but everything is so relatable. And what I love most is that she built her brand in midlife, doing what she loves. So I couldn't wait to have this conversation and get to know her better. While I'm getting to know her better, you will too. Thanks for being here, Jenn.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here.
So let's back up for a minute, because I'm sure you didn't grow up going, I'm going to be a social media influencer. That wasn't necessarily the goal. How did this even come about? How did you end up building a brand in midlife?
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I'm personally not a huge fan of the term influencer. Honestly, it's just about sharing what I have learned throughout this journey. So I feel like part of the reason why I'm relatable is because I am probably every single person who's listening to your podcast right now, right? I'm a 52-year-old mama, previous life worked in corporate. Then I had my baby, stayed home with them. Mm-hmm. Started a few businesses on my own. I actually became a personal trainer, was doing in-home training with women, doing a lot of nutrition coaching, then got out of that, started another business. But right about that time, I hit that period of life that I like to call meno-hell. And I fell
I've not heard that, meno-hell.
I know, I think I might need to trademark that. So all of a sudden, it actually coincided with me going off of the pill. I was on the pill for 25 years. I really wish I knew then what I knew now, because I would have made different decisions for my health, but it is what it is.
So many women don't know that, Jenn. So many women. It's like the go-to push from most doctors on urine symptoms. Here you go.
Well, I went on it when I was 18 years old, right? I remember walking into the Planned Parenthood because, God forbid, I could not tell my mother back then, right? And going to Planned Parenthood at my college campus and getting on the pill. And then even later in life, after I had my babies, I mean, I was very blessed. I was able to come off the pill, have my babies, go back on, no problems. I had no issues. But later in life, I really did start to become more invested in my health and was doing a lot of research. And I'm saying to myself, Jenn, why are you buying grass-fed milk and, protein sources, and you're putting this synthetic hormone into your body every day? And I would ask my OBGYN every time I would go, should I think about coming off of this? I'm in my 40s. And this is what she would say. Do you want to get pregnant? And I would say, no, heck no. And she would say, well, then stay on it. And, back then, I feel like there weren't as many resources available to us to understand, what some of those potential downsides could be of being on a synthetic hormone for so long. Women today have so much more information at their fingertips. I think it is such a great time to be alive. So anyway, went off the pill, everything went haywire. It just kickstarted this perfect storm because I was in my late 40s. I was probably menopausal, perimenopausal at that point. My hormones had shut down, so my hair started falling out. I became depressed. I completely lost my mojo. I went from someone who was working out, 5-6 times a week to barely getting up off the couch. Thank God I have an understanding husband who was very supportive of me during this time. Everything was just a hot mess. And the worst part about it, Natalie Jill, was that I felt so alone. I didn't know anybody else who was going through this. And if they weren't talking about it. I didn't really know what was happening to me. And so as I slowly started to educate myself and learn a little bit more and try different things and really claw myself out of this meno-hell, I learned so much, and I just started sharing it on Instagram, and it was incredible. I mean, the number of midlife women who I've been able to connect with and build this little community where we're all supporting each other has been fantastic. Absolutely not what I thought I'd be doing in the 50s, but so grateful that this came to me.
I want to call attention to something you said at the very beginning, because it's funny when someone says the word influencer to me too, I'm also like, wait, I don't like that word, but I almost want to help redefine it, because to me, influencer is not like something people should strive to be, or a job, or like a role, an aspirational role, but it really is, to me, a name that represents when there's a group that needs to be represented. So to me, you, me, a lot of people that I've interviewed on this show, a lot of people that I'm following on social media, we are influencing what menopause gets to be, what this second half of our life gets to be, what the prime gets to be. So that's why I actually like that word sometimes, because I think we were raised very different. We were raised thinking middle age is kind of like washed up, done, we're over.
Yeah.
We shouldn't look cute anymore. Let your hair go gray. Well, all the things, right?
Yeah,
so to me, I actually do think you're influencing, even if you don't like the word, you are influencing
thank you.
what it gets to be.
Yeah, I guess it got a bad rap because in the beginning, when that term was coined, it was very much about a different type of person than it has developed into now. So it's a very good point. But I am a big believer. I say this all the time. There is absolutely no age limit on a woman looking and feeling her best, midlife and beyond. And I feel like I know this because I connect with so many women who say this. They feel like life is over. They feel like their best years are behind them. And I can relate because I was in that place myself. And it wasn't until I started doing all of these things that I talk about and I share on Instagram where it really started to open my eyes. Like, can I curse on here? That
you
is
can do whatever you want.
I mean, that is freaking bullshit. We are surrounded by this culture and society who is constantly pushing this message on us that, women, once we hit a certain age, no longer should be seen or no longer attractive, shouldn't, like you said, shouldn't be doing this. And it's ridiculous. And I do feel like that messaging is changing. I do sense a shift. And a big part of that, I think, is due to social media and some of the
your influence and your influence. See?
and your influence.
Yeah. Okay, talk to me a little bit about confidence, because I am going to ask you some makeup and hair stuff because you've got that down and you're so fun on social. But like you appear very confident on social. Like you do your fun little dances, you're joking, you're fun. And some women it makes them feel better when they look at it, right? But they think I could never do that. What do you want them to know?
I totally get it. Well, listen, there's a reason why all my dance videos are sped up, because if I show them in real time, you would really see what a terrible dancer I am. But it's not about that. It's not about being the best at something. It's just about having fun and enjoying what you do. And I love music. If I'm in a funk, I'm going to put on a song and I'm going to move my body. And Tony Robbins talks about that all the time. Like just that action of getting into movement is going to shift your mindset. So for me, I have no issues with that. I did not grow up confident. But I don't mind being on camera, I guess is one thing for me. And, Mel Robbins talks about this a lot. It's not about the confidence. It's about having the courage to just take that first step. Amy Porterfield talks about it too in her most recent book, which I just picked up and is amazing, 2 weeks notice. It isn't about having the confidence. It's just about having the courage to try something new, whether that is putting yourself in the gym, in the weight room with a bunch of dudes where you feel uncomfortable, but you have the courage to take the step because in the long run, it's going to pay off. And then that confidence will come by doing the action.
So one reason I think—
one more thing I want to say about that. I'm sorry to interrupt you. The other thing I say to people is, when you're feeling down and you're not believing in yourself and you're talking yourself out of what you want to do with your life, or even something small like going to the gym, if you're a parent, pretend that your child was coming to you with that conversation and saying to you, Mom, I'm afraid to go to the gym. Mom, I don't want to put myself out there because I'm worried about what somebody else is going to think. What's the advice that you would give your kids? Now go look in the mirror and give yourself that same flipping advice.
That is so powerful right there. Yeah. I think I subconsciously have done that before, but I've never actually heard that verbalized like that.
Yeah. We would never accept that from our children. We would never want that for our children because we know that they're wrong in that assumption. And we know that they are just holding themselves back from becoming the best version of themselves, not to sound corny, but it's true. So say it to yourself.
So good. Okay. So when you look at your social media, and it's like fun and you say I'm your midlife hype friend, and which you are, how do you like prepare yourself to do that? I'm asking like little funny questions here, but I know people are wondering, like, do you like content batch? Do you just go with what you feel like? Is this a daily thing for you? Do you have to get yourself in the mood? Do you have a lot of caffeine? What happens?
I wish that I were more organized and a little bit of a better planner. I feel like that is something that also exited my stratosphere once I had midlife. I used to be a lot more organized in my younger years. I don't know what happened. You could see me right now, the chaos that surrounds me at my desk. But you just got to do what works for you. I know I'm not the best planner. I know I'm not the most organized. I know that when inspiration strikes me, I just need to seize it and jump on it. So that's what I do. So yeah, there'll be some days I'm flipping making dinner, right? I'm cooking up some ground beef and some veggies, and a good song will come on because I have it on, and I'm like, oh, hang on a second, let me just film a little bit of dancing, and I'll put that up later.
I don't know about you, but my best videos are like super in the moment authentic. They're not the ones that, because I've had times where I'm like, for 2 days, what should I do? What should I post? And those are never the ones that do well. But the ones that are just like inspo on the moment, those are always the ones that do best.
Absolutely. It connects better with people because, like you said, it's genuine and it's authentic.
Yes.
And people can sense your energy too. Like you're a lot more energetic with those types of videos, those types of reels, that type of content than you are about something that you've planned out. It's a little more mechanical.
Talking about makeup and makeup in midlife specifically, because I think, you happen to look great. Like, I think you've completely mastered it. Like you've got makeup on, I can see it, but it's natural. Look, you're glowing, all of that. And I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about makeup. And I've learned for myself, like less is more as I've aged, even though I love glam. I love the big lashes. I love all the stuff. I look funny when I do all that. Give us some tips here. Help us out.
Okay, so a couple of things. By the way, I literally did my makeup using my little one palette in 5 minutes right before I hopped on this Zoom. So I'm with you.
Okay.
In midlife, we need a couple things. We need our makeup to be simple. We need it to be easy. Most of us want a natural look, but to be able to glam it up if we want to. So I actually partnered with a brand that does all mature makeup. They're all cream-based, because here's the thing. So much changes in midlife, right? How many women come to you and say, I don't understand, Natalie, Jill, I'm eating the way that I used to. I'm working out the way that I used to. And yet my body is changing. I'm gaining weight. I'm losing muscle. I hear the same thing about makeup. I'm using the same makeup I've used for years, but all of a sudden it's not working for me. That's because our skin is changing. It's part of this perfect storm of menopause. Our hormones are declining. Our skin is becoming more dry. So is our hair, by the way. The makeup that we used to use, the liquids, the creams, the liquids and the powders in the past, they are not serving us anymore. Cream makeup is the way to go. And I was really lucky to find this particular brand that I now partner with for those reasons. It doesn't settle into my fine lines and wrinkles. Like you talk about how, as we get older, we want to have that youthful glow back. That's what it does, right?
Okay.
It brings back that glow. It adds that dimension that we lose as we age.
So obviously I'm going to want everyone to message you and figure out exactly what you're using and all the things. But if you were to just give a few tips to people, like even if they were not to go message you and they were just looking at what they have on their supply, like what do you suggest? Like obviously I heard use cream base, but what other things would you say?
Yeah. So here's the thing to think about. If listen, whatever you're using right now, if it's working for you, stay with it. That's amazing. But if you are using a liquid foundation and you feel like it's drying you out, it's settling into your fine lines and wrinkles, it's accentuating the creases. Think about it. Liquid foundation is mostly made up of water. What happens when water evaporates? It dries up. So it's drying out your skin. Whereas a cream, whether it's the brand that I use or another cream that you want to try, is going to do a better job of moisturizing your skin and moving with your skin as opposed to.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. I actually, no one's ever explained that to me. You know what I hate in midlife for makeup? And every time I have a makeup artist and every time I'm on a set or whatever, and I have a makeup artist, I can't stand airbrush. I feel like it gets in every little line and crevice. And
listen, if you're in your 20s, like airbrushing is amazing. But things change. Like I said, you talk about it too. We need to eat differently. We need to exercise differently. We need to change our skincare routine. We need to change our makeup routine because things are changing.
Okay, I got an opinion question. Yeah. I have a very strong opinion here. I'm curious of yours. Somebody's going to be offended when I ask it, but I'm going to ask anyway. What do you think about midlife women wearing the big crazy lashes and the fluffy brows that stick straight up? What are your thoughts? I'll share mine, but you go first.
So are you talking about like the major eyelash extension?
Yeah, like people that have like a caterpillar on their eyelash.
Yeah, no, I am not a fan at all of that look. I think it's absurd. I think it's one of those things that like, like you said, less is more. A couple little
Mm.
lash extensions are just going to open up your eye and make your eyes look even more youthful. I don't even use lash extensions. I use a growth serum and a couple of mascaras that
Mhm.
I love, and I get a really similar effect. I just think it's like with anything, like you get to a point where you're like, okay, that's enough. Now
Yes.
don't go beyond that point, because now you're just looking crazy, girl.
I call it the boob job effect, because in our generation, like everyone was getting boob jobs like in their 20s. Remember, like everyone was getting
Yes.
a boob job. And then they would think they needed bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yes.
Like it's like you got used to it. And pretty soon everyone had these like obnoxious boobs walking around.
Yes.
I think that's what's happening with eyelashes. I swear. Like they started with these subtle like extensions, and now people have full caterpillars going up to their eyebrow.
Yeah, it's the same with the nails. Like they get longer and they get pointier, and I'm like, how do you function with these?
They do. I know. I'm very curious how they manage themselves in the bathroom, but that's a whole nother episode.
So you know what? I will say this too, because I also think, everything is bigger in America. And so I have two kids of my own, and my other son is actually not my own. He's from Ukraine. Long story. We met him when he was a little boy, and he became part of our family. And I remember one of the first summers that he was with us, we were, out and about, and he said to me, at the time he called me Mrs. Reed, Mrs. Reed, why are all the houses so big here? How many families live in that house? And then 10 minutes later, he would go, why are the cars so big? And we would go to a restaurant. He would go, why are these hamburgers so big? And I feel like it's like the American effect. Everything is bigger. We think bigger is better. Lashes, they are not better when they're bigger.
No, here's my thought on that too. Like, I think when I understand my daughter's 15 and a half, like she looks like she's 25, whatever, but like
beautiful.
Well, thank you. But when girls are in their 20s, they can get away with some of that like overdone glam. It's like, it's fun, it's pops, whatever. But I think when we're older and you do all that, all it does is drag your face down, and it just looks like you have it's not flattering. I do like thicker eyebrows, but I think people have gone crazy with the windblown look. You know what I'm talking about? They stick straight up. I don't know what's like Bert on I think of Bert on Sesame Street when I see that.
Oh my gosh, totally. And I feel the same way about overlined lips. I'm okay with a little bit of outside the lines, especially if you have small lips. But man, I've seen some that are really overdone. And to your point, when you get older, my personal opinion is that more subtle really brings out that natural beauty. We want to be accentuating our natural beauty, the positive aspects that we have. Don't be drawing attention to things.
How do you do with your makeup to make you look so lifted? I know you have a lot of videos on Instagram, which I think everyone should go watch, but there's when you show yourself doing your makeup, it like lifts your face and brightens it. What are you doing?
Crazy?
What is that?
And that is a big complaint. A lot of midlife women talk about the loss of volume in their skin. I'm going through it. I always say, I feel like, that movie Indiana Jones, and at the end when he opens the ark and all the scary ghosts come out, and some of the German soldiers, their faces literally melt off, melt off their body. That's what I feel like. I'm like, I feel like my face is melting. So you're losing dimension is what is happening. And when you recreate dimension with these cream makeups by using a darker shade to add some contour. By the way, I was scared hoopless of contour. I never used it before until I started using this particular makeup line, because it's so simple. It's like paint by numbers. So I go, okay, my contour goes here under my cheekbone to lift that cheek. My contour goes here under my jawline to give me that snatched jaw. And it just, you blend it all, you apply and blend it all in 5 minutes, and you're done. And like you said, it gives you this lift, it gives you this glow.
You all have to watch her videos. It's like, she's first of all, she dances in them, which is a whole nother thing. But then she literally paints her face. It'll look, I'm not kidding. Like it'll look like a clown initially, because she's got brown and pink and like, you're like, what's happening? And then she takes this brush and blends it all together, and it's magic. Like she looks gorgeous. I'm like, what did you just do? And this isn't like a filter gorgeous. This is her doing her makeup real time. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I find that I'm not even using filters on my stories as much as I used to, because when I wear this makeup, it is like a filter in real life.
Yeah. I have an interesting thought on, here's my thought on filters with people.
Let's go there.
Well, for one, I think if it actually gives somebody confidence to get online, then go for it. Because to me, it's like an avatar. Like if that's what it's going to take for you to go get on your stories or whatever and share a message, then I fine. I mean, I use a ring light. So to me, I'm
Yeah,
like, whatever. So, but
absolutely.
I think the filters that fully change people's faces. If I didn't have a daughter, I don't know that I would see it this way, but it disturbs me now.
Yeah.
And
And
believe me, I
depends
would
on who
love
you
to
want.
put that one going around TikTok right now,
Yeah.
the bold glam. Like
Yep.
I put it on, I'm like, dang, I look like a supermodel. But I don't, but then what's that going to do to other people? And then how do I start hating myself because
Yeah.
of I'm comparing?
Yeah, absolutely. It is, again, a very fine line between the fun, creative side of using filters and then the crossing that line into it's creating this unattainable look that
Yeah.
mostly women, mostly young girls, creating a lot of issues with their self-confidence.
Yeah. Here's
Yeah.
my suggestion if you want to use a filter. I'm telling the world, not that they asked me, but I'm going to share it. Then I would say just film it on Instagram stories and just swipe right. It just brightens it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's not if it doesn't change your face, it doesn't, whatever.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
So if
And I
I'm in
feel
like
like,
really bad lighting, sometimes I do that and I don't care.
yep.
I'm
Yep.
not apologetic.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely. And,
but if you use
I,
good lighting, you don't even need to. If you use a
yeah.
ring light or a window at you, then it's good.
Yeah, exactly. And most people, I feel like, especially in our age group, we're over that. We're beyond like pretending to be something that you're not. Like we want genuine, we want real, we want authentic. So I really enjoy seeing people out there being
Yes.
their authentic self. And when let's say you're talking about fashion, right? You want to see somebody your body type trying
Yes.
on these clothes so you can see what does it really look like. Same with makeup. I'm not going to hide all my wrinkles because I want you to see what this
Yes.
makeup looks like when you have wrinkles and you wear it.
I love that.
I
Okay.
mean, listen, I do get Botox. I am not opposed to doing the things. I am not judging. Like every
Yeah,
woman should do what she is comfortable doing.
for sure.
And just be careful not going over that crazy line that we talked about.
I wish I could do Botox. That's the one thing that I definitely cannot do. For whatever reason, I've got that strong eyebrow and I've
Yeah.
done it before, but it makes me look like Jack Nicholson.
Oh,
So
yeah.
to me, I'm like, that
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I think I'm actually envious of the women that it looks amazing on. For me, it doesn't, it drags my eye down or makes me look like Jack Nicholson. I don't know what that's about.
Have you tried multiple different injectors?
Yes, I had
Yeah.
when I was little, when I was 3, I had a benign tumor removed from my eyebrow, my temple
Right.
bone. So
Oh.
what I understand from multiple people is it damaged the nerve right there.
Okay.
So no matter what I do, I'm gonna look like the freak. So I just decided I'm gonna be natural. It's better for me
You
anyway.
are gorgeous. Yeah. And I love that you're embracing it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So talk to me about some hair tips. What do you got there? Because your hair also looks perfect and shiny.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So this is another one. Our skin changes, our bodies change, our hair changes a lot in midlife and menopause and beyond. And a big part of it is those declining hormones. We don't have that lube like we used to have, right? In many different places, right, girls? Including our skin, including our hair. So our hair starts to get more dry. Obviously, it often goes gray. It becomes more damaged because it's more susceptible to damage from whether it's chemical processing or mechanical damage, brushing or using your hair ties or whatever it is. And it's just really important. I mean, if I could say a couple of tips that I think all midlife women should be doing for their hair. Number one, treating it carefully. Don't over process it. You can't get away with it like you used to be able to in your younger days. Try to stretch out if you are having it highlighted, which I do stretch out, the amount of time in between. Do some oil treatments on your hair. Literally the best thing that I have done for my hair. I started doing oil treatments about 7 years ago on my scalp. I run it through my ends. I sleep in it and then I wash my hair the next day. Remember, not all oils are created equally. You want to find a good one that's non-toxic and all the things. Make sure you're using a good heat protectant. That's another thing that we really didn't have to worry too much about when we were younger, but find a silicone-free heat protectant that's going to protect to high heats.
Oh man, we used to crimp the heck out of our hair too. We probably needed that.
Yeah, exactly. And oh my gosh, think of all the things that we did back then to our hair, the sun in,
oh my gosh, I did all that. I had the orange sun in, the crimper though is what, and then I would put a scrunchie that was like 2 feet above my head. That the scrunchie, like a spout that came out the top.
On top of the head. Yeah. It was like the Chris Kirkpatrick look from NSYNC.
And blue eyeliner.
Oh yeah, and the blue eyeliner. And I'm sure the blue eyeliner will make a comeback because pretty much everything that was cool when we were kids is making a comeback right now. Right now, right? All the 80s stuff is back and I love it. And thank God I'm a hoarder because I still have all my things.
That's so smart. I got rid of it. I feel like as soon as I get rid of things is when they come back in.
Yeah.
I'm always missing
I never
it.
get rid of them. Yeah.
Because now, yeah. And then if I wear something that's back in, my daughter will tell me I'm copying her. I'm like, we wore it first. We did it first.
The best is when your kids are like, "Oh, mom, I wish you kept that outfit that they see in the photo."
That's
and you're
funny.
like, yeah, full circle moment. I love
Vintage,
it.
and they call it vintage. That makes me feel great.
Yes. I know, right? Vintage used to be like when we were kids, it seemed like vintage was like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're like talking about our generation as being vintage. And I'm triggered. I'm offended by this.
I know, but we were born in the 1900s. That's what she says that too.
Oh, I'm not listening to that. La, 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 la. Yeah.
So you've got so many great tips. Listen, everyone listening, make sure you go follow Jenn Reed on social. She is hysterical. She's fun. It's, I always talk about we're the sum of who we have in our lives. And a lot of women feel like they don't have those friends or those relatives. And I say, find your people through podcasts, through books, through social media. And I'm really clear on social media. Like, I don't follow people that make me feel bad. Like, I follow people that make me feel relatable, that empower me, that are fun, that are uplifting. And I really do encourage people to make sure their feeds do that, because if you find yourself scrolling and someone's post is making you feel bad about yourself, like, that's not your person to follow. I wouldn't want anyone following me that felt that way. No way. So I really encourage. So she's definitely one to add. You can find her at, is it the Jenn Reed? Is that where they find you?
At the Jenn Reed. It's Jenn with 2 N's and Reed with 2 E's.
And then you can ask her all her makeup and hair tips. She's got all kinds of products that she works with. She's super knowledgeable. Thank you so much, Jenn. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Honestly, it was an honor to meet with you and talk to you. And I just appreciate the opportunity to chat with you. Thank you.